Hello children. Before today's lecture, we'll first revise the previous topic which we had studied till date. We are doing the chapter 11 of your book and chapter 2 of your syllabus, that is force and pressure. In the initial phases of chapter, we'll study what is a force. Any push or pull on an object is known as a force. किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट पर लगने वाला पुश और पुल फोर्स कहलाता है. Next, we had studied effects of force. What are the effects of force? First, we had studied that by the help of force, we can start moving an object which was at rest. हम एक रुके हुए ऑब्जेक्ट को चला सकते हैं. Second, by the help of force, we can stop a moving object. हम एक चलते ऑब्जेक्ट को रोक सकते हैं. Third, by the help of force, we can change the direction of an object, direction of a moving object. Fourth, by the help of force, we can change the speed of an object. And the fifth effect which we had studied was, by the help of force, we can change the shape and size of an object. So these are the 5 effects which are in your syllabus. Next, we had studied the resultant force. Why we are studying that topic, why we had studied that, why that topic includes in your syllabus, because on an object there are certain multiple forces may exert. एक object पर बच्चे multiple forces भी लग सकते हैं. Then for that we require a resultant of that force. What is the resultant of that force? If the two forces are acting on an object in one direction, then the resultant of the net force is the addition of the two. अगर बच्चों एक object पर लगने वाले forces एक ही direction में हैं, तो उन सभी फोर्सेस का हम क्या करेंगे बच्चे? एडिशन करेंगे. नेक्स्ट, इफ टू और मोर देन टू फोर्सेस आर एक्सर्टिंग एन ऑब्जेक्ट इन द डायरेक्शन ऑपोजिट टू ईच अदर, अगर एक ऑब्जेक्ट इस डायरेक्शन में लग रहा है और दूसरा इसमें, देन वी हैव टू फाइंड द डिफरेंस ऑफ द टू. तो हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा बच्चे? उन दोनों ऑब्जेक्ट्स के बीच में डिफरेंस फाइंड करना पड़ेगा. उन दोनों फोर्सेस के बीच में जो डिफरेंस है वो फाइंड करना पड़ेगा. Next, we had studied unit of force. What is the unit of force? On the scientist's name Newton, the unit of force is also Newton. I have also explained you that how we measure 1 Newton. If we hold a 100-gram weight on our hand and we place our hand parallel to the ground, then the force exerted by that 100 gram on our hand is equals to 1 Newton. After this topic, we'll study the classification of forces. You must have to learn the definition of all these forces that are very important for your exam. Classification of forces is done on the basis of physical contact, on the basis of interaction between the two objects. First we'll study the contact forces and then non-contact. What are contact forces? The forces in which the two objects on which the force is there, among which the force is there, those two objects must be in a direct physical contact. दो ऑब्जेक्ट बचे जिस पर फोर्स लग रहा है और दूसरा जो फोर्स लगा रहा है, दोनों एक डायरेक्ट कांटेक्ट में होने चाहिए. Those type of forces are known as contact forces, and the other type of forces are non-contact. The two forces in which there is no direct physical contact between the two objects, in which there is a force, are known as non-contact forces. These are further of three types. First, we'll study the contact forces, the type of contact forces. The first one was muscular force. The force exerted due to muscles of a body is known as muscular force. The force, the motion, the movement of any object due to the muscular force is known as, due to the muscles is known as muscular force. जब भी हम किसी भी चीज को मूव कर पाते हैं, किसी भी चलती चीज को रोक पाते हैं, by the help of our muscular energy, by the help of our muscles, that type of force is known as muscular force. Next, mechanical force. When machines do some work, when machines help in the movement of any object is known as mechanical force. Example, movement of a car, movement of a bus, movement of a truck, all those are mechanical forces. Next, frictional force. It's a very important topic. What is a frictional force? The type of force which opposes the motion, the type of force which always opposes the direction of motion is known as frictional force or force of friction. The direction of force of friction is always opposite to the direction of motion. Direction of motion के हमेशा opposite होगा. कौन सा force? Frictional force. For that, the moving object and the surface must be in the direct contact with each other. The examples of frictional force: rubbing our hands to produce heat during winters. Next, the braking system. The brakes exert a frictional force on the movement of tires so that tires can stop after a certain distance. Next, we studied the type of non-contact forces. The first we had studied was magnetic force. The magnet exerts a force on the magnetic substances like iron, cobalt and nickel. That type of force is known as magnetic force. This force is of attraction and of repulsion. Magnetic force बच्चों repulsion का भी होता है, attraction का भी. Same poles of a magnet repel each other and opposite poles of a magnet attract each other. Next we have studied electrostatic force. Electro means charges. Force due to charges. The force exerted between the charged object on another charged or uncharged object is known as electrostatic force. Whensoever a charged object exerts a force on another object, that object either be charged or not to be charged, that is known as electrostatic force. The example of electrostatic force is when we comb our hair, our dry hair, and bring that plastic comb near the pieces of paper, then those pieces of paper will attract towards that comb. Next example, our mother will bring certain packets of pulses in our home. When our mother withdraw the pulse from that poly pack into a container, then some particles of pulse will remain stick to that poly pack. कभी-कभी क्या होता है बच्चे, जब हम अपने घर पे दालें वगैरह का पैकेट लाते हैं, जो बच्चे दालें हमारी मदर एक पॉली पैक से, उस पॉलिथीन के पैकेट से जब दूसरे कंटेनर में डालते हैं, तो कुछ दालों के जो दाने होते हैं वो उस पॉली पैक के बीच चिपके रह जाते हैं. That is also an example of electrostatic force because there is an opposite charge produced between the pulses particle and the polythene and the poly pack, due to which those opposite charge, the pulses particles or few pulses particle will remain attracted to that poly pack, will remain attracted to that polythene. So that is why some pulses particle will remain in the poly pack. Next, gravitational force. It is the only attractive force. The two objects, whether present on the earth or celestial in the outer space, will attract each other, and that force of attraction between the two objects, whether present on earth or outer space, is known as gravitational force or force of gravitation. Whenever we drop certain thing from a height, it will fall always towards the earth. That is because of the gravitational force of earth, and the gravitational force of earth is known as gravity. There are certain applications of gravity, beta. Rainfall, snowflakes always fall on the earth. That is because of the gravitational force of earth. Earth's surface has an atmosphere around it. Why that atmosphere will remain there? Why this atmosphere is stable around the Earth's surface? Because of the gravitational force of earth. So these are certain examples. After that topic of force, we had studied the new topic, the next topic, the name of the chapter, that is pressure. What is a pressure? The force exerting per unit area is known as pressure. It is a physical quantity which measures force exerted on a given unit area is known as pressure. And from that we define the mathematical definition, that is pressure is equals to force per unit, that is divided by area. So pressure is equals to force per unit area. Next we have studied the unit of pressure. The unit of pressure is Newton per meter square. Why is it so? Because the unit of force is Newton and the unit of area, the SI unit, the standard international unit of area, is meter square. So the unit of pressure is Newton per meter square, and on the name of the scientist, Pascal. This Newton meter per square is known as pascals. What is 1 Pascal? When 1 Newton force exert over 1 meter square area, then it is said to be 1 Pascal pressure. So these are the topics which we had studied today. Bachon, now we'll study the next topics of your chapter. Now students, we will study certain numericals based on the formula, that is pressure is equals to force upon area. For that we require two quantities. One is force, that is either the weight of an object, force or weight एक ही बात है बच्चों, and other one is area which that object covered. So there's a numerical written on the board, that is a solid object weighs 250 newtons. That means the force exerted by that weight on earth is 250 newton. उस ऑब्जेक्ट का वेट कितना है? 250 न्यूटन. When placed on a wooden plank, the area of contact is found to be 10 meters square. So, बच्चे, two things are given in this first line. That one, force or weight of the object, that is F is equals to 250 newton, and the area of that object on the wooden plank, the place with its cover on the wooden plank is 10 meter square. So, बच्चे, from the first line हमें क्या पता चला? The object का जो object है उसका force, उसका weight कितना है, और दूसरा उसका area of contact कितना है. We know the formula of pressure is force divided by area. The pressure is force per unit area. So by the formula, pressure is P is equals to force F by area A. So put the values, beta. In place of force, we place 250 newtons, and in place of area, it's 10 meter square. हमने बच्चे क्या किया? वैल्यू पुट कर दी. फोर्स और वेट की वैल्यू कितनी थी? 250 न्यूटन, और एरिया की कितनी थी? 10 मीटर स्क्वायर. We cut the 0 with 0. We find pressure will be equals to 25 Newton per meter square, or 25 Pascal. So the answer of this numerical is 25 Newton per meter square, or 25 Pascals. The next numerical which we are going to study is a force of 120 Newton is applied on an object of area 3 meters square. एक ऑब्जेक्ट है बच्चे, उसका फोर्स है 120 न्यूटन, वो एक दूसरे ऑब्जेक्ट पर पड़ा है जिसका एरिया है 3 मीटर स्क्वायर. सो बच्चे, टू थिंग्स आर गिवन टू अस इन दिस. फर्स्ट, फोर्स और वेट ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट, दैट इज 120 न्यूटन्स, एंड द एरिया ऑफ दैट ऑब्जेक्ट इज, और एरिया ऑफ दैट ऑब्जेक्ट on which it is placed is 3 meter square. The area of contact by that object is 3 meter square. So the formula of pressure is force per unit area, or force divided by area. So pressure is equals to F by A. Force given to us is 120 newtons, and area is 3 meter square. When we cut it down, the answer would be 40 Newton per meter square, and Newton per meter square is known as Pascal. बच्चों, हमने इसमें क्या किया? सिंपल फॉर्मूला लगाना है. प्रेशर इज इक्वल्स टू फोर्स डिवाइडेड बाय एरिया. फोर्स गिवन है 120 न्यूटन, और एरिया गिवन है 3 मीटर स्क्वायर. जब हम बच्चे 120 को 3 से डिवाइड करेंगे, तो आंसर वुड बी 40. तो आंसर आ जाएगा 40 न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वायर, और 40 पास्कल्स. बिफोर अंडरस्टैंडिंग द नेक्स्ट न्यूमेरिकल, we'll study first about the dimensions of a brick. We all know बच्चे, brick is denoted in the form of a cuboid. Its one surface is rectangular. This is the structure of brick, बच्चे. This is its length, this is breadth, and this is its thickness. ये बच्चों इसकी लेंथ है, ये इसकी थिकनेस है, और ये जो है ये इसकी विड्थ है, breadth. That next question is based on this brick, this structure, बच्चे. As the question says, a brick is 32 centimeter long. The length of the brick is 32 centimeter. 10 centimeter wide. The breadth of the brick is 10 centimeter. And the thickness of the brick is 10 centimeter. It weighs 16 Newton. What is the force of that brick? Is 16 Newton. Is lying on the ground. Now this is a very important point. The brick can be placed on the ground in two forms. Once, like this, it lying on the ground. So the surface which comes in contact is this. That is length into breadth. This is the area which is covering. The second is the brick is standing on the ground. This. Then the area of contact is less, beta. अगर brick खड़ी है तो area of contact कम होगा. Then the area of contact would be 10 multiply 10. But now the brick is lying, so the area of contact is length into breadth. And if the brick is sending, then it is breadth into width. So that's how you will find the area. So if brick is lying, then what we have to take is length into breadth. So now we proceed with the numerical, and that says a brick is 32 centimeter long, 10 centimeter wide, and 10 centimeter thick. It weighs 16 Newton. So what we got from that line is the force of the weight of the brick is 16 Newton. The brick is lying on the ground. So when it lies, for the area of contact will take length into breadth, or you can say length into width. The length is 32 centimeter. We'll convert it into meter first. So for meter, we have to divide the centimeters by 100. अगर आप सेंटीमीटर को मीटर में कन्वर्ट करना चाहते हैं तो हमें उस क्वांटिटी को 100 से डिवाइड करना पड़ेगा. So for 32 centimeter to be converted into meter, we have to divide 32 by 100. That will convert it into meter. Multiply. The breadth would be 10 by 100 meter. ये भी सेंटीमीटर में है बच्चे, तो इसे मीटर में करना है तो हमें इसे 100 से डिवाइड करना है. We cut this 0 with this one. Then we'll find the area would be 32 by 1000 meter square. 32 multiply 1, 32, 100 multiply 10, 1000, meter multiply meter, meter square. That is the area, beta. That is the unit of area, meter square. So the area of the brick lying on the ground is 32 by 1000. I am explaining you it again. The brick is lying on the ground, so the area which is comes in the contact of the ground is length into width, length into breadth. The length of the brick is 32 centimeter and the width is 10. First we'll convert the centimeters into meters, and for that we have to divide every centimeter by 100. So first we'll divide the length, that is 32 by 100, convert it into meter now. Then breadth 10 by 100 meter. The overall area will be 32 by 1000 meters square. We know the pressure is equals to force upon area. Force is 16 and the area is 32 by 1000. This 1000 will bring work back and goes at the top as a multiplier. ये 1000 ऊपर चला जाएगा और ऊपर जाकर मल्टीप्लाई हो जाएगा बच्चे. 16 1 are 6, 16 2 are 32, 2 1 are 1, 2 1 are 2, and 2 500 over the 1000. That is Pascal or Newton per meter square. 32 by 1000 है बच्चे, 1000 ऊपर जाकर मल्टीप्लाई हो जाएगा तो 16 multiply 1000, 32 नीचे बचेगा. 16 1 are 61, sorry, 16 1 are 60 and 16 2 are 32. So that one goes over the 2, that 2 will goes over the 1000 for 500. The answer would be 500 Pascal or 500 Newton per meter square. The topic which we are going to study is applications of pressure. Importance of pressure. In our daily life or in our daily routines, we have visualizations of certain applications of pressure. So we'll study them one by one. But before that, you must have to know that all those applications are dependent on only one formula, that is pressure is equals to force divided by area. So pressure depends on two factors. One is force, another one is area. If force is high, the weight is high, pressure is high. If area is high, the pressure is less. And if area is less, the pressure is more. The first one is a truck. A heavy truck is fitted with 6 to 14 tires. You must have seen the long trucks, bachche. They are fitted with 6 to 14 tires. They have the multiple tires. Why they have those? Because multiple tires means the area of contact for that truck is high. जितने ज़्यादा एक ट्रक होंगे बच्चे टायर्स, उतना एरिया ऑफ कॉन्टैक्ट सरफेस के साथ बढ़ जाएगा. एंड इफ एरिया इज मोर, द प्रेशर इज लेस एंड द ट्रक विल नॉट सिंक इनटू द ग्राउंड. जितना उस ट्रक का कॉन्टैक्ट का एरिया ज्यादा होगा, उतना उसका प्रेशर ग्राउंड पर कम होगा, और जितना प्रेशर ग्राउंड पर कम होगा, उतना जल्दी से वो ट्रक सिंक नहीं होगा. नेक्स्ट, knife must be a sharp edged. You must have seen a knife, bachche. A knife has two ends. One is blunt end, which is the broader one, and the other one has a sharp end. Sharp end means less area. Less area means higher pressure. जो तीखा एज होता है बच्चे, उसका मतलब एरिया कम है. एरिया कम है तो प्रेशर ज्यादा है. डॉक्टर जो सिरिंजेस हमें देते हैं, जो इंजेक्शन हमें लगाने के लिए सिरिंज यूज करते हैं, वो भी बहुत शार्प एज होती है बच्चों. Why? Because sharp edge means less area, and if less area is there, that means pressure is high. Next, skiers use long and flat skis. The skiers used to ski on the ice. They use flat and broad ski. Why? Because that broadness, that large longness provides more area. more area means they exert less pressure on the ice and does not sink into the ice. ski के बड़े होने से एरिया बढ़ गया है, एरिया बढ़ने से प्रेशर कम हो गया, प्रेशर कम हो गया बच्चे, तो स्टीयर्स जो होते हैं वो आइस में सिंक नहीं होते. फाउंडेशंस ऑफ हाई राइज बिल्डिंग्स आर वाइड. The tall building, the skyscrapers have wide foundations. उनकी जो नींव होती है वो wide होती है. Why? Because the weight of the building is distributed over that large, wide base, wide foundation. जो weight है वो large area पर distribute हो गया. Area large है तो pressure कम है. Pressure कम है तो वो building ground में sink नहीं होती, stable रहती है. इतनी ऊंची बिल्डिंगें stable रहती हैं बच्चे because of their wide foundation. Wide foundation means more area, and if there is more area, the pressure is less. Next, a school bag has wide strap. Your school bags are provided with wide straps. Wide strap means more area on your shoulder, and more area means less pressure. Less pressure means it does not sink into your shoulder. It does not penetrate your shoulder. A wide steel belt is provided below the army tent. You must have seen the army tanks, either in the pictures or either in your real life. The army tanks are provided with large chain-like structures. Steel or iron belts are there on their tires. Why is it so? Army tanks are of tons in their weight. उनका जो weight, उनका जो force होता है बच्चे वो tons में होता है. They are very heavy. They are very metallic, high metallic structures. They are very heavy metallic structures, so their weight is quite high. If that weight will possess or fall over a very small area, that large weight will sink into the ground better. So for that area of contact to be high, the wide steel belts are provided. Wide steel belts provide more area as they are wide, and more area means the pressure of that weight, pressure of the high tons of weight is quite less, and those tanks do not sink into the and may easily move in every type of field. Beta. Next, camels have broad and soft padded feet. If we try to move on sand, then our feet will sink. If horse tries to run over the sand, the feet of the horse will sink. Why is it so? Because the horse or our feet are very small in area, whereas the camel's feet are soft and they are padded broad. Broad means more area. More area means the pressure exerted by the camel on the ground, on the sand is quite less. Due to that less pressure, they do not sink into the ground. That's why camels can easily move in the desert area. So, because of those padded feet and those soft and broad feet, they are provided with large area, and large area means less pressure. And due to that, they can move easily over the sand without sinking into the ground.